Good morning everyone, this is Swayman Splits and we're continuing our Let's Play of Rogue Trader Lex Imperialis DLC and Void Shadows DLC. I believe this will be part 17 of the series. So recently we just went through our retreat as the Dark Elder, or the Drakari, have apparently stolen our sun, and the world is plagued by cultists and the arch enemy's influence. We are currently on retreat to the shuttles, and we are going to be escorting the RBDs by the looks of it as well. So I believe
I
everything
always
is
keep my
done.
options open.
So I'll quickly just show off that's a shield thing. We will actually put that on Pascal. So I'll just quickly show off. So the Road Trader went Executioner for the second archetype. Argento went Master Tactician. Both Pascal and Cassia have gone Grand Strategist, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. Uh, Henrix is going Executioner, but Heinrich isn't going to be really staying in the party anyway, but yeah, he's there. And Keyboard is going Assassin. Um, so the reason why one of the biggest nerfs that Cassia got was something regarding her something regarding her officer trees, where sees the initiative lets you go first, and it was quite potent. Um,
Keep your wits about you.
since then, sees the initiative does not let you go first anymore, it does other things. But the innate ability of Grand Strategist is always go first, regardless, thus making Cassia being able to do things. Same thing with Pascal, and now because he is a Grand Strategist, he can make use of that item we gave him, finally. Um, So the idea is that you will put him in the middle of the party and click it and
Always keep your eye on the prize.
get a little bit of free effort from him, because admittedly Pascal is not the greatest of combat characters. You can sure build him out to be one, but he has better things to do. Them and the people from the shuttle. Sergeant, I demand an immediate report. What is going on here? Yeah, you take it out, M. Sergeant. I'm not going to stop you. And so we do get a dogmatic option, and we'll probably pick that. Look at yourself, servant of the God Emperor. Whom do you serve, humanity or its foes? How dare you speak of justice, kindred blood on your hands? Lower your weapon if you value your soul.
You thought you had killed Aurora, false believers. Tremble, for I am Aurora. I am the herald of change. Behold the final dawn, and die!
I'll make an example out of you!
Okay,
Death to the false emperor.
welcome to the Act 1 finale boss, Aurora, a Chaos Space Marine of the World Bearers Legion. I was about to say chapter, but they were never a chapter, they were always a legion. Our goal is simple. We are going to murder him as fast as physically possible. Lucky for us, we have a few companions who have always go first. So hopefully that shall make it a bit easier. At the very least, hopefully Cassia can stun his ass into the ground. Otherwise, he's going to be a bit of a pain. As a merchant of a Space Marine, he's strong, he's tough, his skills are pretty good, great armor, counterattack, and well, Cassia's already got some stuff. He's also packing a heavy bolter, great fun for us. Good movement, immune to falling prone. But I don't know if we'll be able to stun him, but we can sure try. We've all dodge parries from power armor. And yeah. So let us try to murder him as quickly as we can. Cassie is going first. First thing we're going to do is all allies in the back line. I'll pop that down there.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Which I can do for free. We are going to Waking Nightmare him.
If I may,
And we are going to gaze him. Then we are going to move him, I believe, because unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to kill all of them yet, and I can't really deal with the sniper just yet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I do that, hopefully it'll get the both of you.
Show me what you've got.
Yep, it does. Cool. So Pascal, now I believe this item is supposed to be broken, but just in case if it's not, we're just going to do it this way anyway. Alright, so we're going to pop that. Pop that. Trying to... Oh, you're doing the same thing with your gun. I don't like that. Can I snipe the sniper? Yes, I can.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
I missed him apparently, but oh well. Alright, Kevlar.
I bring
Time to
mercy
move.
and retribution. Trust me.
Move. Apparently I didn't really move as far as I wanted. That's fine, we're gonna jump to over here.
As honor ordained. Come, the other side awaits.
Which got us an action point, which we are going to use to blade dance.
Trust. Let your soul be purged.
And then as a precaution, we are going to throw that
I
up.
feel nothing. Fear nothing.
And we're going to shunt him this way.
My blade whispers your name.
And then we will drop that on him.
me. If you insist, Lord Captain.
Then I think Hylix is
I won't object to it.
Pop that, and we're going to set him on fire,
Naturally.
which will then trigger the Executioner. And then we will Blood Oath.
I'll make it happen.
Head over there. We're going to stab this
I'll see
gentleman.
to it personally.
We're going to
I'll make it
sidestep
happen.
there. You can see he's almost dead. Oh, I should have done that as well. Oops. Expose weakness him too, because we can. And oh, we can rotate it now. That's wonderful. We will pop that on keyboard just as a precaution, because obviously we didn't run around him.
A mere pain won't stop me.
Damage, integrity failure. Detected.
Time to slaughter
He hit us a little bit,
Let's
but
get to...
again,
Every
should be
thread
fine.
ends in death.
Hold on.
Pascal's gone down, but he kind of did his job already. That's fine. Press the
I'll do it.
advantage. We're just going to unload.
Each strike is a prayer.
He's down already.
I was born for a greater
As
fate.
the Emperor commands, I act. The enemies of the Emperor will be undone.
Yeah, we will swap to the rifle. And we'll take that shot again. Hits the cover instead. Oh well. Now that Aurora is well and truly down, which is kind of funny because the last time I played he didn't even manage to do that to my characters.
As honor ordains.
Obviously
The shadows will see
the
it done.
nerfs and changes will affect that. But
Killing brings me no pleasure. Aim for the heart next time. As honor ordains.
now we just got to mop up the riffraff and we are
Come,
done. It's
the
fine.
other side awaits. Killing brings me no pleasure.
And it's just the sniper left now, so hopefully we can do this. Charge
I
up.
won't object to it.
Not going to be in range. Cassia,
Emperor,
if
give
you
me
would be
strength.
so nice to bring this person close to us. Then, let Argenta hopefully
Doubt is for the weak.
get a good shot. Yeah, no cover, out in the open.
Irad.
Bang. And that is Aurora dealt with. Alright, unfortunately, we don't have heretical followers. Otherwise, this would be the first heavy bolter, and it's a pretty decent heavy bolter. I actually put this on my rogue trader in my last campaign. So, it's pretty good. Also pretty nice, but again...
Let us not dawdle.
Rest in peace, Major. You didn't last very long, did you? Now, good thing about that is we did not let him nuke a shuttle except for the one in the cutscene, which does not count. So, we would have gotten an achievement for that. Why is your bolter not reloading? Dodge reduction, additional hit chance. Additional hit chance. Dodge reduction. I mean, we'll use it, I suppose. Again, her time using a rifle is coming to its end, as she is going to be using a much better weapon, and probably in the form of a heavy bolter, then we come across one inevitably. One that's obviously not limited to being heretical. Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened on the system sun. Drukari, yep. Xenos, enemies of humanity. Xenos in league with the Aurora cultists. Yeah, it's more like an attack of opportunity, probably. What's current station aboard the ship? Thank you, Pascal, if you would be so kind. Why did you not send a shuttle to the planet for me? Yeah, scrap code of the enemy. What is happening on the planet now? Do we have any hope of retaking the planet? We must save as many as we can. All that happens for a reason. Yeah, as much as I want to do that, Argenta, I have a feeling I know exactly what's going to happen. Save the reactor. Everyone, our companion dad is telling us GTFO. I can't argue with that. So Heinrichs is basically telling us to exterminate the planet. I don't technically think he has the authority to do that. But yeah. I would normally show off all this one, but we are dogmatic, so we are going to take, well, Heinrich's suggestion. Set an optional course and carry out an orbital strike on the Electro Priest Monastery. Riker monoliths must fall for the good of the Emperor. $15 dogmatic. Oh, we easily crushed into the second tier now. I condemn this entire population to the hellfires of extermination. Goodbye. Right, what is going on here? Vegas, why won't you assume control of the Technomat? Surely their contributions will speed things up. Oh, so you're saying my people are a hindrance. Ouch! Vegas, if you do not bring the situation under control, we will all perish. Act swiftly. Admirably done, Pascal. First, explain what we are doing. That sounded less reassuring. Step up to the cogitator. What must I do? Deviating from the rite of operation, that sounds dubious, especially coming from you. So as an entire crew now depends on my convincing the shit spirit to start up a broken component, is that right? Listen, you can't do all this without me. I am no servant of the Open Signer after all. Alright, we'll do what he says. What does this all mean? What should I do now? We shall touch the instrument panel. By my authority, I revoke the inevitability protocol of the warp engine. What is happening? I'll read the information on the vid screen. Megos, Hammond, a moment if you will. Machine Spirit, can you hear me? It'll be nicer to Machine Spirit. Machine Spirit, this is the Lord Captain of this vessel. Obey me and start the warp engine. What just happened? It appears the Emissary perceives and knows the power of your faith, Pascal. He would not have worked this miracle otherwise. I know what of the ominous sacred machines, but what I saw on the screen looked strange. Lord Captain speaking, I give the order to commence translation to the warp. By the cleansing fires of Exterminatus. Goodbye, planet. May the Emperor guide your souls. Cough. Making Inquisitor... What's his name? Alright, it was Inquisitor Cryptman, that's the one. Making him proud by doing Exterminatus.
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void shift plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Aurora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Okay. Are you leaving us, Hendrix? Heinrich, sorry. I hope we meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard my ship. Agenta, who is Reverend Hieronymus who wants to talk to me? Yeah, we'll definitely be visiting him anyway, because he's a vendor. Tell me about the system we are arriving in. What do I need to know about Footfall? Footfall is a brief stop. What's next? Aurora, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? What does the Liege want with me so badly? Tell the Lady Navigator I will give her leave to make the translation from the warp into real space. Tell me about the details, how the choices will benefit me. I have decided I will arrive officially as the Rogue Trader. Now this decision does affect one thing in the future that we can do on Footfall. It's tied to an achievement, but I've got the achievement already, so it doesn't matter. I have done both options, so one of those things where I saved my last playthrough, did it one way, reloaded it, and then did the other, so it didn't matter in the end. Alright, so we're gonna drop a save there. And then for this episode, I might quickly check to see if the main cast has anything new to say. Remind me, who are you? As part of your duties. It doesn't look like there's anything really new yet by the looks of it.
Greetings.
It's good, I guess.
You are engulfed in clouds the color of dark umber. They carry an old pain and doubt. I beg forgiveness for my inappropriate behavior. When I see such oppressive colors, I immediately want to paint them a different hue, to disperse them. I already mentioned I cannot control it, except this time, I thought I would be able to, for whatever reason.
There's no need to apologize. You mastered the power in order to aid another. To aid me, I'm grateful.
I haven't...
I skipped that. Nothing there. But I don't imagine there'll be any particularly new dialogue.
Lord Captain? Lord...
Probably, oh, we can turn this on. Who are you? What is your purpose here? What is this body key I'm supposed to use? Place your hand inside the servitor's maw. Pascal informed me the systems had encrypted data stores inside. I wish to know its contents. Now we'll start a quest. What data repositories? They also know where these are. We don't have to worry about it just yet. How do I accept these keys? Need to know more about these caches. Store the data on the cache located on Dragonus. I'm interested in the cache of Kiva Gamma. I have other questions. Tech with the depth exponent has been able to discern how the ship was able to start her warp engine. Remind me who you are. Alright, so there was a little bit new dialogue there. That. Down here. Peek into Idea. Got a broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch. After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me. If I knew, I would have told you. Hearing things clearly requires cooperation from the other person, you know. But that cobra just hisses and spits its venom at me. I don't trust her one bit. Oh yeah, you go ahead and tell her the wicked Psyker has divined something about her. She'll be so pleased and grateful, and of course she'll listen to what you have to say. No, that would be pointless. And anyway, I'm not even sure what it all means. Maybe the danger is to her, or maybe the danger's coming from her.
Fair enough. I have learned that cache is left by Theodore somewhere on Dardanus and Carver Gamma. Do you know anything about this?
Me? Not a clue, Lord Captain. I don't know who Lady Theodora would have told about a thing like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Why would you whisper that to me now? Why? Lord Captain, I don't know anything about caches or Lady Theodora's secrets, but the voices have just reminded me about something. I was once given the chance to try some real wine. Lady Theodora gave me some. Not just any old synthetic booze, but her favorite plonk. She always drank it in her palace. It was golden in color, and its name was Flame of Purity. A silly name, but the flavor was so intense, and like nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Apologies. It's probably not important, but I don't know anything more than that.
So you can't see it again because of my recording software, but I am moving my mouse back and forth underneath Flame of Purity. Remember that for later.
What?
What did I say? It was nothing, a joke. You like jokes, don't you?
Yes, Lord Captain. I love to laugh.
Oops, I actually didn't mean to click that.
Of course.
So,
Always at your service, whenever you need me.
we'll head to Kivola very quickly.
Delman.
Nothing there. Talk to Pascal.
The Messiah knows all, comprehends all.
I want to know the truth about you.
The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagos Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma.
What did he do?
He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it.
Certain aspects of the Imperium have indeed ossified. His argument sounds reasonable.
This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amanat was not afraid.
It's probably a reference there to the dark ages of technology where AI revolted and went on a murder spree on humanity. They probably don't want a second one of that. How did you betray Amanat?
The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected tech priests, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen anthematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagos Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
You acted like a loyal son of the Imperium should.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us.
So why did you go to Rykid Minoris?
I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain. We were in danger, and I had to go to Rykid Minoris.
The tech priest's name Abel, who is he?
I never met him, but I think he was a person of worth. The phrase that came from his lips indicates he was in contact with my mentor. I preserved his cortical implant and absorbed the information it contained. However, the large amounts of data memories are encoded with a cipher yet unfamiliar to me.
What are you going to do next?
I was wrong when I assumed it was the blessed Archmagos Amanat, who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
I have no more questions.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the blessed Amanat.
I want to know more about your past.
The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
How did you end up in the Coronis Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why you're not with the fleet then?
After I betrayed Archmago Zamanat, the fleet conclave directed me to the orbital station Altar Templum Calixis X-17 for penance. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Coronis Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorers? Explorators.
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the Code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
I suppose you do anything to get those STC plans and everything. Tell me about your mechadendrites.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
We can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
What do you mean, guard it? Is it not buried treasure? It's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge, strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of Xenos. This bane is called Xenotech.
All sacred objects should be touched by only the worthy hands. Manning, this is kind of like his counter split. We will make him be loyal, so sacred objects should be touched only by worthy hands.
This statement is true. What many consider chains on our way to comprehension is our armor, which we have inherited from our wisdom-blessed predecessors.
Do you hold a high position in your fraternity?
This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
What is the Omnissiah in your understanding?
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace.
What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus' enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentation?
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness, it softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant. Which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
I'm curious to see your augmentations.
The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of rogue trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata.
So many innuendos that could be made for that. Yeah. Emissary has been generous to you. His creation is keeping you safe from death.
The Omnissiah has been generous to you too. He has granted you understanding.
No, 20 years of Warhammer has done that. You have a strange way of speaking. Is it because of the augmentation, or does your faith dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
I have no more questions.
Acknowledged.
I'll take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Yeah, okay, so we will go take a quick visit to the chapel and the shrine. And then we'll go speak to Heinrich, so I don't believe we've done any of his dialogue yet. And then we will call it an episode there, and next VOD will be our introduction into Act 2 proper. I will say though, Aurora being dropped that quickly, even if Pascal had to offer up his
Is there
health
money
and
to be
service,
made?
was well worth it. Normally, Aurora, at least from what I remember, would be dropping like 4 people in a party when people were complaining about how tough he was. We'll visit the freight line as well. We'll see if that captain guy has anything new. But yeah, Aurora would drop like 4 people and people would complain. I normally don't have anyone dropped, but obviously, as you can see, Cassia, my weapon of mass destruction, got nerfed, so I couldn't really manhandle Aurora with my previous build, where I would use not only Notch of Purpose, which is her first displacement ability, but I would also use the other one, the AoE version, and that would like kill
I always keep my
a
options
lot of
open.
the grunts and damage Aurora, or I would use the AoE to kill all the grunts, and I would actually use Notch of Purpose to murder the sniper in the back, because I believe it may have been the sniper who actually dropped Pascal. Couldn't remember his HP, whether or not Aurora dropped him or we had a sliver and then the sniper went bang. But anyway, one person going down at the end of act doesn't really matter, or exploration, because you get healed the moment you get back into your void ship anyway, so it made zero difference. Talk to the confessor. No, nothing new there, cool.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Yeah, so we'll go to talk to Heinrichs, and then I'll double check with a few companions about the data caches now that we picked up the quest, because Idira dropped a hint for one of them. So it might be good to check with Abel and some other people. I don't necessarily have to do it, but I went to the wrong section. I don't necessarily have to do it, because, again, I have my notes from my first playthrough, and you can already do it all, but to show it off how you would learn about these things.
Lord
anyway.
Captain.
So Abel will tell us his one.
It is wise for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone, even one's most trusted associates. I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded. In that case, this code will be useful to you.
Which will probably save us a tech use. Nothing there. Nothing there. Argento was around when Theodora was around. No way Cassia would know. We'll check Cassia anyway, but... yeah.
I have...
Check with Costa. Yeah, nothing there. And, I mean, she has been on the ship, so who knows, but...
Dumb in.
Oh, okay. So we'll talk to Heinrichs, and then we'll call it an episode. I am going to do a save, because I will check something during the conversation. I know nothing about you, Heinrichs. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained, and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
So it is these black ships that gather up all the Psychers and give them a free, all-expense trip to Terra for a wonderful vacation. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. If you know, you know. Do you remember your home planet?
I do, but I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn 3 when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the Black Ship.
How did you discover your abilities?
Like many psychers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great-aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great-aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too.
Oh, that's some Harry Potter stuff right there. I don't know what I'm more surprised by, the absurdity of this story or the fact you're more capable of such a show of emotion.
I don't consider raw emotions to be a necessity in everyday communication. But let me assure you that I am more than capable of anger. Fortunately for others, I learned to focus it. Properly measured rage reveals the full potential of combat psychana, in much the same way as aged cheese reveals the notes of a mature amasec.
Yeah, I can't say no to cheese. Tell me about the black ships.
Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psychers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers. Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day.
Oof, that's rough, buddy. You were sent to the Inquisition straight after training?
No. First, I was accorded the status of a psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne.
You keep your secrets there, buddy. I won't pry. Let's talk about something else. And how long have you served the Inquisition?
Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space.
Yeah, that is the warp for you. You visited many worlds during your service, I wager?
Indeed. I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terra, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the Segment's other worlds.
Yeah, they also don't talk about a certain other place called Titan in the Sol system where the Grey Knights happen to live. What duties have you been carrying out for the Inquisitor?
You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you?
Kind of wish you would, but anyway. No. For someone who's been in the service for decades, you certainly look young.
The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Gladly.
You're not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct?
Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Coronis Expanse, I have been working alone.
Wandering amongst the stars without family or friends, don't you get lonely?
I had never even considered such a thing before you asked. Perhaps I do. Sometimes.
Not a bad conversation partner should you ever want company.
Perhaps. When we both find a suitable time.
If you're an interrogator, does that mean you hold a special position in the retinue?
We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne.
Are there other acolytes in the Cronus Expanse? Yeah, he's not going to answer that. Let's talk about something else.
Such as?
What can you do as a Psyker?
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
Like you did during your first cutscene. I must take my leave. Alright, so that Timex all sorted out there. So I will stop the video here. We've gone over the hour a little bit, but I figured it was better to get that all out so we can just go straight into Act 2 without any dialogue from our companions on board our ship. So if you liked the video, make sure to drop a subscribe and like, and I will catch you next time for Fun 2, or Funsies in Act 2 I should say. Bye.